Hey guys, what's going on? We got Jake's Reviews coming at you with a review for Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Class Skids, also known as Herp, which is his nickname, which is affectionately called by the fandom. He's an Autobot. His alt mode is a Chevy Beat. Apparently there's some rename confusion where that actual car is going into production under the name Spark, but I'm sure Skids doesn't mind either way. He's the brother to Mudflap, aka Derp, and they actually make a pretty good and pretty funny duo in the Revenge of the Fallen movie. I was afraid I was going to be very annoyed by them, but they actually are pretty funny. I laughed a lot at them. But anyway, on to Skids. His alt mode is very sleek. It's painted a nice green color. I thought it was going to be very painful on the eyes, but it actually looks pretty good in person. The green is not nearly as blinding as it looked in a lot of pictures. And actually, on this camera, it doesn't look nearly as bad in real life. It looks a lot more of a solid green sort of color. A lot of nice detail on his on the car mode. I like this little door paint, sort of swish, sort of decal. It's got it on both sides. His license plate actually says Skids, which is a nice little touch. He's got a little Chevy emblem here, a little windshield wiper, red painted tail lights, clear plastic headlights, which is a nice. What else got going on here? Yeah, but just a lot of detail on him, which I think is pretty good. Not a lot of robot parts. I mean, like, you can see that there's definitely, this is not a car, but it's not distinctly a robot. You can't see his face or anything like that, although you do see something in through the windshield there. He rolls pretty well, but he does have parts here and here that drag along the ground, so he can't roll for very long. He stopped there completely by himself, and it'll just catch and stop, which is unfortunate. Basically, the car mode has no real features to speak of, but it's still really solid, and it's a really nice looking car mode, and I like it a lot. His transformation is a little complex and hard to get right the first time, but it's very satisfying once you do, and he looks pretty great. So to get into the transformation, the first thing you do is you unlatch these doors. Unlatch these doors here and roll them down like that. Fold the windows in. These are a little floppy. So they do get caught when you're transforming it back to vehicle mode. Vehicle mode transformation is a lot more tough than from vehicle to robot. Robot to vehicle is a lot harder. Took me forever to get it right the first time. But you just pop out these doors, which is a feat sometimes, and fold the windows and basically fold them down to about there. Pop open the back of the car here, on the left and the right. And let the arms kind of fold out. Fold them down like this. His little punch gimmick will go off many, many times. Fold his arms out. To transform his legs, you fold his feet down, rotate them, and fold them in like that. Rotate, fold it in. And then fold, this is interesting, this is really cool. You fold the doors around the feet and then peg them in. And they pegs in rather sturdily. Little peg-to-hole relationship right there. And it actually does stay in really well. Rotate his feet around as well. I have his feet facing the wrong way because it's a little more efficient in vehicle mode. It sticks together a little better. Peg in on the other side as well. And there you basically have his legs. His lower body is basically done. You basically unhook this whole piece and rotate on this little axis right here. Rotate the whole thing around. In the process, flip his head up to get out of the way. There will be a little bit of a clearance issue here, but once you get it right, you will know. Fold his chest just down a little bit so it rests like that, and fold this piece in. Peg his head down, although that'll probably pop off on accident a couple of times during the review. Adjust his legs to your liking. Make sure he stands up okay. This part is interesting because it feels like you're going to break the toy, but I promise you, you won't. Brace your fingers on both sides like here, and push in there. Eventually it will, with some force, it'll look like it'll feel like you're going to break it, and it'll feel like there's something blocking it, but it's not. Eventually it'll just pop right in. Fold that down, and pop that out that way. So it's like this. There's two little pegs right here that attach to those two little holes. and it's a little difficult to get it all lined up correctly. But once you do, it will fit in right, and you'll wonder why it won't push in all the way, and you'll wonder why. But once you fold the whole backpack up, which is a pretty simple process, fold this piece up and it pegs in right there. And that can be a little difficult because you know he's bent over, and it really depends on his waist joint, so you do kind of have to adjust him a little bit before it will peg in all the way, but it will. So this backpack kind of folds in all like this, and then you just push this piece down, attach it right there. Lift his head up, make sure he's doing good there. Leave this piece sort of like that. Unfurl his arms here and adjust them. Rotate his the back of the car pieces up here, little shoulder pads. Get his legs in the right place. Get him to stand up. His backpack is really impressive with how much it actually folds in. It compacts at least 3 layers into that little spot, which is pretty cool. And once you get him sort of situated here, there you have Revenge of the Fallen Skids in robot mode. He's a relatively short deluxe, not the tallest of all of them, but he's okay. His robot mode looks very herpy, and no, he doesn't itch and burn. Oh, I slay me. His head sculpt is very weird, as you can tell. Looks kind of gremlinish. Mine does have painted teeth, but it grows on you. It's surprising. His whole design is surprising, with his one arm being bigger than the other one, and just his whole sort of look about him. It's surprising, really, but you get used to it, and it grows on you very quickly. His arm has a little feature where if you press this little lever here, it does a little punch action. His arm actually does have finger articulation, which I did not know. Only after I watched 2 reviews, actually, did I catch it. I just wasn't really paying attention to it. He does, in fact, have finger articulation. His articulation is pretty standard. Speaking of articulation, his arms will rotate and go out. His elbows bend, and there's a little swivel here on his left arm. His right arm is a little less articulate. It does rotate all the way around. It does swivel and curl up, but it has the curling iron arm. But it's understandable considering the size of the arm and the feature. It was difficult to put a swivel in there to have it be normal. I understand that. It would have been nice if he didn't have curling iron arms, but it's not a big deal. His legs are rather interesting. He just came apart. That will happen sometimes. Sometimes his backpack will just kind of disassemble without you even really knowing it, which is interesting. But it's pretty easy to just pop back right into place. His legs rotate around there, double jointed knees, which is interesting, and ball jointed hips, and his feet are also on little ball joints. So you can get a lot of some pretty interesting poses out of the guy if you really do try. He's extremely back heavy though, and his knee joints aren't quite strong enough, so he will fall back every now and again, which is a little disappointing. He just kind of falls down. It's these joints right here are not strong enough to hold him, which is a shame. But by kind of pushing his legs back a little bit on that joint and give him sort of bird-like legs, he'll stand up just fine. He also has one more feature, which is, I call it the Herp feature. Basically, you push in here, and all of these pieces will it's a Mech Alive gimmick. Make sure you hold his backpack, because if not, his backpack will pop off when you do this. And just kind of press him with your thumb, and he'll kind of herp-a-derp, herp, and kind of do a little action there, which is kind of cool. But overall, he's a very, very solid toy. He will grow on you. He will come off as sort of a bad toy at first, but as you play with him, you will like him a lot more. I guarantee it. He's very good. I don't know. I can't explain it. He's lovable, kind of, in a way. After seeing the movie, I like him a lot more. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, really. But he's very solid. I really like him. He grows on you. You got to buy him if you see him. Get him. This has been Jake's Reviews, coming at you review for Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Skids. Thanks for watching, guys.